Good evening. Welcome to the Personnel Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, and it is 6:38 p.m. Voting members here present with me, we have to my left, Councilor Rich Russell, Council Vice President and Representative Estela Reyes, and myself, Stephanie Infante, Chair of the Personnel Committee. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Personnel Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person here at the City Council chamber or may access the meeting through our Facebook or YouTube page. And at this moment, can you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilors, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting from June 13th and June 28th? So moved. Motion has been made, it's properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Secondly, can I also have a motion to untable item 214-23, Director of Inspectional Services, ISD, temporary appointment, ordinance number 2.04.081, and it was put on the agenda by myself and Council President.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. Discussion? No. All those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Councilors, so I, as I was trying to figure this out, you know, the last meeting that we had, we did not have information on what was going on, and we ended up, our HR director left to another opportunity, and we did not have anything to move forward with. It was brought to my attention that the mayor, in fact, our acting director at the time resigned, and shortly after his resignation, the mayor did, in fact, appoint a temporary position. And we have here Mr. Mike Iannello, who is covering the HR department to explain a little bit more of this situation. But from my understanding from the ordinance, and I read the ordinance 3 times, we had the authority to post, review applicants, etc., after the 90th day expired if no extension was voted on. At this point, we no longer have that individual. We have a new acting director of inspectional services. So I know Mr. Mike Arnell, if you can come up, and I know you had a conversation with the city attorney as well to see how we're going to move forward with this.
Good evening, councilors. Yeah, as we discussed earlier, there is a provision for temporary appointments. They're good for 90 days. They can be renewed for another 90 days, and at the end of that time period, without any further action from the mayor, the council makes an appointment. We had the previous inspectional services director resigned, so we appointed a temporary person. Peter Blanchett is the temporary interim ISD director, because we needed somebody to run the department after Mr. Garcia resigned. And so that was the week of sometime around June 20, 21st, 22nd. I don't have his appointment with me, but it was sometime around there. So I think that started another 90 days. That's the question.
And it's from my understanding, from my own understanding, reading the ordinance and also the conversation that occurred with the city attorney, this resets the 90 days for this temporary position. Is that correct, or?
That's how I'm reading it. I'll leave it up to the city attorney, but I think he's reading it the same way.
Okay. Councilors, do you have any questions for Mr. Mike Arnell?
Well,
Councilor
thank you.
Reyes.
Thank you, Chair. For the clarification, I knew the answer, and if the mayor doesn't take any action after the 90-day, the councilor are responsible to appointed and interview candidates.
That's correct.
Okay, that's the only question. I just want to clarify because I kind of knew that the mayor is the one appointed, whoever he's going to stand down, and then is have to go through the personnel committee. So the process is still the same.
That's correct. Yep.
Correct. Just the question, at least the question I had was, does our ordinance still, does it continue if there's a new individual, or does it end with the individual that we were, the council was taking action on, or it could be, so, but after speaking with the attorney, it's from our understanding that this new appointee or temporary person has a 90 days. And if no action is taken, again, like per our ordinance, if no action is taken on the 91 first day, then this is a process that we would start all over. Any other questions, Council President?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I disagree with that assessment. As the author of this ordinance back in 2015 and working with then Mayor Rivera, the goal behind this thing was to allow the mayor an opportunity, a real opportunity, at that point it was Rivera, to go ahead and bring somebody, a temporary employee, or not temporary, but to fill the position within X number of days. What could happen if we were to continue this, and I'm not saying that this mayor would do this by no stretch, but if we set the precedent here for a future mayor, they can continually be just reshuffling the deck with temporary, with a temporary, with a temporary, and the clock keeps resetting. And the idea behind this ordinance, when it was signed into law, was that it wanted to have a date certain that the council would be a partner in allowing this thing to go forward, but there needed to be a deadline by which there needed to be somebody permanent in that position. What I'm hearing right now is a loophole to get around that. And that was not the intent. When this council, when we authored this thing and then when this thing got passed. So I don't agree. What I think could happen realistically, because the trains still need to operate, things need to get done. If you need to have somebody working there right now while we continue our process, we must continue our process. Meanwhile, there needs to be some sort of head, and in this case, Mr. Blanchett, fine. But it shouldn't stop this council from continuing its work. And I would like to, it's a shame that the city attorney, and I realize a lot of things going on here, but it's a shame that we can't have this kind of back and forth with the city attorney. And I might make a phone call or a conversation with him later. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. So I did speak to the city attorney earlier today. He did say if we need him, he is available via phone or Zoom. So if the committee would like or would feel more comfortable, I can give him a call to see if he can log into Zoom. I'll just ask for a motion for like a 1-minute recess. Are you looking for the phone call now, or are you going to follow up later?
No, I don't need.
Oh, you need to, okay. Okay, so I understand where Council President is coming from. I am going by what I'm seeing in this ordinance, and we don't have direct language. So that's, sometimes, I don't know if this is the first time that we've had a situation. This is my first, my first term. I'm learning, there's certain things, learning as I'm going. But from what I see here in our ordinance, there is no language that states that this continues if a second person, in our situation, if a second person is appointed. So perhaps since you are the original author of this ordinance, perhaps it's a good idea to send this up to ordinance again for an edit or revision to add a provision, just in case this situation happens again, so everything is clear on what we are expected to do. Because, like I mentioned, I'm not the only one who's reading it this way. Our city attorney is reading it the same way, and this is our current law, our current city law. But like I mentioned, moving forward, I think it is worth sending this up to the ordinance committee again and adding that provision, just in case this does happen in the future, and that the ordinance continues to the ordinance does what it was, the original intent was for. Council President.
Yeah, so, and this is a good conversation for either the committee or myself to have with the city attorney. When you look at trying to determine a law, when there's a law and that there seems to be some ambiguity, what you do is you try to find some of the corresponding language in the spirit of why that law was written. And fortunately, you've got that resource here. So, and it's not like we're moving the ball here. This is what lawyers do. Lawyers look back to try to find what is it that was the intent of the legislature when it passed a law, an MGL, or an ordinance. And so I'm stating that I'm stating to repeat, this is an end around to what the ordinance was trying to accomplish. We should not be promoting and assisting end arounds. The idea behind this, between Rivera and this council, was to make sure that not, and it just happens to be this mayor, but it can be any mayor, that there needs to be some sort of accountability and work toward trying to get critical department head positions filled. And in this particular case, not only was it unfilled, we voted, it never got the fifth vote. It never got the fifth vote, and frankly, this thing's beyond the statutory length. Anyway, so I just want to make sure we set the right precedent. I mean, I'm not part of this committee. I'm just kind of coming in here. I'm not going to say we should talk to the city attorney. This committee does not, wants to talk to the attorney, I'll support it. If it doesn't, I'm with the committee, or the committee wants. But it is a question that's outstanding that has not been answered by this committee yet.
Council VP.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. So what I think we should do, and this is me thinking in the long term, why, whoever or the councilor has any question, to give a city attorney a call to make sure that they understand what we have written, and if there's any change, then we send it to ordinance. So we're not gonna be, go around, because I do remember when we worked with Rivera's administration and us, that if after 90 days, if they need to renew, they need to come in front of us for another 90 days. And I know that that was not the case in this past case, but I think we should leave a table, give him a call, find out what is the change, and then if he needs to send it to ordinance, then we change.
Thank you. So again, this ordinance right here is public information. I'm reading it. There's a difference between what is written, what is here, and the intent. We need to make sure that everything is clear. We need to make sure everything is thought of. This is how I'm speaking for myself. And Council Russell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have apprehensions about sending that ordinance to be reworked to the ordinance committee, because I have a fear that that's going to reset the 90-day clock. And we're just going to, again, like you said, we're just going to be ending around it. So we could possibly end up with somebody in a temporary position up there for 6 months, like we've had in the past. So something should be done post haste, let's put it that way. I mean, what you tried to do back in 2015 was admirable. We never anticipated this happening, but.
Well, we're in this situation now, so I'm going to leave it up to the committee members. I'm looking for a motion. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Properly second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call. You sure? All right, the ayes have it. So, all right, so I encourage the members of the Personnel Committee to reach out to the city attorney. I will speak to him again. Like I said, I spoke to him myself directly, and also read this ordinance 3 times to make sure I understood what I was saying, but please contact him, and when we come back, we'll see where this goes. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There was a motion made, properly second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you.
executive secretary.
Right, that's the old ordinance,
It's an old ordinance. They're trying to fill it, you know, so it teases him.
Okay.
He wasn't in the current role. He was just So anyway, so when they did the rule, there's the ordinance, which has to be approved by the city council. That position never got filled. So when I did the research, that's what I noticed. The new ordinance has this 2018.
Feedback.
They did the new one, and they eliminated all these positions, so I'm looking at that director. It's okay now. Because so they removed that, they must have made a change to the director. And you have an assistant director, and they made a change to it, so here's the new assistant director of recreation. Right, exactly, so that's what we want. Because this was supervisor administrator, and job grade 16, that's exactly what Nelson was. So I think that was his title. They just- But that was an ordinance.
I apologize, I just, the title was given to me, that's how I found it, so that I think I'm right, but,
Gina made it.
yeah, it's just an error, yeah, it's not an error, it really was a drug.
Trying to
What
fill
really
this
is
position.
ordinance. Do you want any comments, let me have that, why don't I just go flip it to the, would you say this chair? Used to be on the board.
So we just want to say,
Used to be,
that's the position.
Yep.
so apart from that, I should be fine. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Subcommittee. Today is Tuesday, July 11. Time is 7:01. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that the person who would like to listen to view the meeting while in progress may either attend in person or at the location above or use any of the following access location: Facebook City Council page and YouTube City Council page. Members are present, my Vice Chair, Councilor Anna Levy, and thank you, Councilor President, to fill into a space, otherwise we're not gonna be able to have a meeting tonight. I'm looking for it to approve the minute of 3:14, 6:13, and 6:27.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Present.
Aye, the ayes have it. Counselor, if it's not objection, I would like to take a couple of items out of order. And the first one is document 24623, approval of hiker and pedals license Piragua Santiago and Fernando Santiago. So, things to have, I mean, it's a renewal, the paper seems to be in order. I know Mr. Santiago for a long time. I personally have no question. If there's no any other question, motion to send it with favor recommendation.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. So you do need to come back to our next city council meeting for the final approve. The 18th. Dile, please. Ya está aprobado aquí ya.
Gracias. 18, perdón, gracias.
523 Greenway 5K Manchester Park, August 6, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. It has been put on agenda by Eddie Rosa, Groundwork Lawrence. I know that Mr. Guzman is on his behalf. Sir? For those who doesn't know you, name and address.
Jonathan Guzman, External Affairs Manager of Groundwork Lawrence, 50 Island Street, Lawrence, Mass.
So you want to tell us a little bit about that 5K?
Yeah, so this is gonna be yet another run or walk 5K that we're gonna be doing. It's gonna be starting on the Manchester Street Street Park, and then gonna end on the Heritage State Park. Usually we ended at the corner that I'm forgetting the particular name of that park, where LCW is building the new structure, but because of the structure getting built, that's barricaded and weren't able to use that. So we're gonna be ending at the Heritage State Park, Lawrence, as we did last year. And then we're gonna start registration at 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. And then we're gonna be starting the run on 9 a.m. Usually that takes around 10:30 a.m. and usually the event ends by, I would say, 11:30 as we pick up and finish the last stuff.
Counselor, any question, comment?
I think you're thinking of, through you, Madam Chair, Nunzio DeMarca Park?
Yes.
Thank you.
No? Looking for a motion?
Motion to approve and send it to the full council with favor recommendations.
Motion has been made properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. You do need to come back to our next city council meeting. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, councilors. Have
Okay.
a good day.
Next document is, we are gonna be taking three documents, 2023. We're gonna start with 2023. Determination regarding voting by mail and in-person early voting for primary and general election. City Clerk, Aline Bernard, and Election Clerk, Richard Reyes. Request to reconsider for September time frame.
Good evening, councilors. Richard Reyes, 42 Canton Street. On this item here, back in February, I believe you guys had discussed about early voting, but there was no set dates, and there was a few questions about being brought up to 2 weeks on the September elections. Usually, we go by the same routine as the state elections. We do 1 week early voting in September and 2 weeks in November. So we wanted to kind of clarify that and give the dates exactly for early voting for approval.
Okay.
So the early voting for the September 19 election, early voting is going to start on a Saturday, which is the last day to register to vote at 5 p.m. from September 9th, and it's going to end that following Friday, September 15th, and it's 1 week. And on Saturday, we have, and Sunday, 6 hours. On weekends, we're required to do 6 hours on weekends. So we're going to be doing weekends from, Weekdays is from 8:30 to 4:30, and on weekends, I believe we're gonna do from 9 to 3.
Weekends?
We gotta do weekends. It's required by the state to do early voting
So
on
what
weekends.
would it be the time?
I believe we're gonna do it from, hold on, just give me a second. Because the last day to register to vote falls on a weekend, so we're gonna do that. I'm sorry, it's gonna be on Saturday, September 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Sunday, September 10th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And weekdays?
Weekdays, regular business hours, 8:30
business
to
hour.
4:30.
Counselor, questions?
Yes.
You should have a question. Okay? Counselor Levy.
Through you, Madam Chair. But there is a day that is on September that we had a holiday.
September 11 is not recognized as a holiday, and it's a regular working day for us.
It's a, okay, because I know that was one of the discussions that we had, that it was practically a holiday, and that we were only counting 4 days during the week.
Yeah, but from those timeframes that I just mentioned, there is no holidays in between. From September 9 to September 15, there is no holidays between those dates.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Counselor President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. So did you just say that there is a requirement that we have On the
Yes.
weekends? What happens if we opted not to
According
do
to
any
the
early?
election advisory issued on June 23rd, 2022, the state requires all local elections now to do early voting. And I have the memo here from them.
So now, there's no local control over, I mean, it is mandatory that we have early elections.
correct.
It is mandatory. Effective when? When did that pass?
June 23rd, 2022.
2022 or 2023?
2022. Last year, we started it, but it was a state election, so we just went by the state requirements. This year, as a local election, we gotta follow those guidelines the same way.
So you can understand my confusion, we had a discussion whether or not we wanted to have early voting or not. And there really is no question. We're required to have early voting and required to have it on the
I
weekend.
mean, the cities do have an option to opt out from early voting, and a lot of cities are opting out, but I think honestly, from my opinion, it gives the voters a lot of chance to work, to come and vote. I know on election day, a lot of people start requiring absentees, vote by mail. Early voting kind of has served the purpose for a lot of people throughout the city to help them come and vote in early.
It's certainly a valid opinion, Clerk. There's other people with other opinions as well that are equally
absolutely.
valid with respect to that. But I do respect your opinion. Thank you.
Madam Chair. But also, as far as I remember, we vote no to voting by mail.
I wasn't here for that meeting. I wasn't, on personal
We
reasons.
said no by voting by mail,
Okay.
just for the absentee ballot, but we said no because of the amount of money that incurred and the word that's incurred that we will not have the voting by mail. That is what I remember and I recorded.
Absentee ballot, you cannot opt out from that.
Yeah,
Absentee
the
is
absentee
required at all
ballot, yes.
times. Vote by mail, the city council has the right to opt out of it. We are not required to send out vote by mail applications to all our residents, as I spoke to Michelle Tassinari at the Secretary of State's office, but it is required for people to come in. If they want to vote by mail, they can, unless the city council once again opts out of that option. I have the memo from the state if you would like to see it, Council President.
And I don't think so that we adopted. I think so that we should look at for that, for the minutes, okay? But I recorded that we vote not to have voting by mail, just only like the regular one by absentee.
Absentee and early voting in person.
In early voting, yes. Just only 1 week in September and 1 week in November.
1 week in September and 2 weeks in November.
Yes.
That's what we usually do. It's up to the council if you guys want to opt out from mail by vote. It will save the city tons of money because of the postage that it costs the city. So it's really up to you guys.
The other thing is, through you, Madam Chair, so what you're proposing or what you're recommending is a week in September and 2 weeks in November, and is that another requirement, 2 weeks in November, or can the city
It's
opt
not
out
a
of that?
requirement, like I mentioned, you guys could opt out of it, but like on the past, like for the state elections, we've always done 1 week for the primaries and 2 weeks for the final election. It's like they said on the memo here, it's up to the city councilors. If you guys want to do 1 week, you guys could retain the number of hours of early voting or the days, but it goes by the population. And according to the state, if we have a population between 40,000 to 74,000, we're required at least to do 6 hours on weekends and regular business hours on weekdays.
Through you, Madam Chair, if we opt in.
Correct.
If we opt in.
Yes.
So if we opt in, then there are requirements, but we don't have to opt in.
That
I
is
think this council, I was on the minority side on this vote, but this council voted in favor of this for both the September and in the November. I was not part, I did not vote in favor of that for reasons you've just mentioned with respect to cost and whether the efficacy, the efficiencies of having 2 weeks, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're going to be gone, maybe 1 week would make sense, but to pay people for 2 weeks and the election day, to me, that to me is a bit much. But my opinion on that, but the council has already spoken to it. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Either do one or two things. We can send it as a committee report, and we can give the opportunity to the rest of the council to make a decision whether they want to go forward and how they want to proceed with this.
And that's for the early voting in person,
For
correct?
the, yeah, for
Okay.
the 2023.
Okay.
Early voting, we say yes.
Motion to send document 2023 as a committee report.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Stay right there, we're just gonna take it. The next document is 25723. Approved 2020 polling location for 2023 municipal election, both September and November.
That is correct. On local elections, we're required to only have 24 polling locations. On state elections, we're required to have 26. If you remember last year, we had A2A, yep, and E1A.
Yes.
On city elections, we're not required to have sub-precincts, so we're just gonna have our 24 regular polling locations.
Motion to send it with favor recommendation.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 258, 23, approve police details for municipal election, both September and November. Send it with favor recommendation.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
The next document that we're gonna be taking out of order is, oh my God. 25623, all gold second-hand dealer license, Eddie Main, Henry Jewelry. Sir, my apologies. My apologies. But take the blame because you stay in the back and I didn't see you.
Yeah, I'm not as good looking as that bald guy.
Oh, okay. So, this is a renew license. Any question? No. No question? 25623. No question? Yes. All the sign-offs are there? Yeah, all the sign-off. Yeah, it's the motion to send it with favor recommendation.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. Those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes.
See, thank you.
You do need to come back to our next city council meeting on the 18th. The next document is 26423. Reauthorization of Director of Economic Development, vacant on over 6 months, Mike Anello. Careful.
Good evening, Chairman, Chairwoman, and also councilors. This is a request for us to reorganize, restructure the Department of Planning and Development with a position of, to reintegrate the position of Planning Director. Is that the one?
Economic Development.
This is just the, sorry, Council, this is just to request the position, Economic Development Director, or Director of Economic Development has been vacant for more than 6 months. We need council approval to fill the position, so we're just asking the
okay.
council permission to fill that position.
Oh, that's the Economic Development.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Councilor, any question? Hear none? Yeah. Motion to send it with favor recommendation?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 26523, reauthorization of program coordinator position for Recreation Department, vacant over 6 months. It has been put on the agenda by Adderley Gonzalez and myself. But I have Mr.
Yeah, councilors, there's just a mistake in the title of this position. It should be Assistant Director of Recreation Director. The program coordinator position the previous person who held this position was called the program coordinator. I mean, he was paid, he was in the SEIU union, Supervisor Administrators Union, paid at grade 16. This program coordinator position is a clerical position paid at a lower rate. That's not the position they meant to fill. It's a mistake in the personnel office when they sent it down. It should have been assistant recreation director. That's the position that's been vacant for more than 6 months. We need the council's permission to fill that position.
Pat, you heard that? 26523. So, and they're gonna repeat the title. The one that we have is not that one, it's assistant, so please.
Assistant Director of Recreation. That's the correct
Assistant
title.
Director of Recreation. Yes? The item is 265. Yeah, so it's assistant program,
Yeah, instead of program
Coordinate.
coordinator, it should be Assistant Director of Recreation.
assistant,
Assistant Director of Recreation.
question? Councilor LaPlante.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure we're on the right page. So I think that there was a reorganization that took place in 2019. I do believe that the previous position of program coordinator was removed and that it was subsequently filled with this position. So I think there's some sort of Scrivener's error that was associated to it. Now having said all that, and in our packets, we just need to make sure that we have the proper information. Inside our packet, it does have the program job posting in here, so we need to make sure that for the full council, it needs to have the appropriate document.
And I think Eileen had it, yeah, it should be a tab, Assistant Director of Recreation.
No. Yeah, that's the one, but she needs to change the title.
That's the one.
That's the one.
So we need to change the title. Assistant Director of Recreation.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Good.
Any other question?
The only thing, Madam Chair, is through you, Ms. Waters, just make sure that that is reflected in, and so that should be the title going forward, because there was an error in the title previously. That should be the correct title. So when the vice or the chair reads, she'll have that right there.
Yeah. Let us know if you need us to repeat it again. Okay, any other question? Motion to send document 26523 with favorable recommendation.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay. We are gonna be going to the top of the agenda. 24223, I don't think we have anyone on the item, okay. 24223, 59 through 71 Mary Mack Street, zoning amendment. That has been put on the agenda by Attorney Brian Corrigan for Greater Lawrence Community Action. Can I get a motion to table document and send correspondent to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance committee?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. Pat, you got that? Table and send correspondent. 24323, there is a way out event, Campanile Common, August 25th. Diana Regas House of Mercy. Yeah, on this item, the paper is in order. The applicants couldn't make it because they notified her today that she needs to be present and she had another commitment, but she got in touch with me Can I get a motion to send document 24323 with favored recommendation?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 24423, Splash Park event Saturday, July 15. And there's no one. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Carly Fialo, advocating for children's. Hold on. This is also from Eddie's groundwork. No, this is for children. This is next Saturday. We're not gonna have another meeting until July 18. How to, to table document 24423,
So move.
but we need to send correspondence to the applicants and say that they need to change the date or they need to come in front of, for the next meeting.
And Madam Chair, with that, I would also encourage them to get in touch with Recreation to make sure whatever new date they have, that there's availability. There's
Yeah.
nothing already pre-scheduled.
Yes. Motion to table.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor? The ayes have it.
I don't think so that she got it.
Let's go a little, 244. Yes. Yes. And send correspondence to the applicants and also to get in touch with the Recreation Department to make sure that they can give them another day. Okay? Next one. We were talking, if you want to speak, but we already tabled the item, is the applicants is not here, and they are looking to have an event on July 15, which is this coming Saturday. We're not going to be meeting again until July 18. So what we did was we tabled the item. We can give the title item. Is a document 24423, Splash Park event, Saturday, July 15, and it not even say where they're gonna be holding this event. Splash Park event. What is,
Manchester Street Park.
no, that's a,
Oh, no.
East Haverhill and Newberry Street.
Okay, yeah, because we do have two splash parks. There's one at the West Street Park and then one at the Newberry Street. I don't have it on my schedule because they were supposed to come to you guys, so if they're not here,
yeah, but they are looking to have it on July 15.
yeah,
And this Saturday is July 15. We're not gonna be meeting again until July 18.
yep.
Which is why, we are sending correspondence to them and ask to get in contact with you and looking for another day.
Yep.
Okay?
That works.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pat, next document is 247. Mine with purpose of basketball tournament on O'Connell Park, August 27. Jeudy Santiago, Minds of with Purpose. Again, they have time, so what we are gonna do is, because they didn't. Can I get a motion to table document 24723 and also send correspond to the applicants to be present to our next ordinance committee?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 248. Ordinance regarding commercial vehicle and commercial overnight parking has been put in the agenda by Councilor Anna Levy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, you can see in here, in the information that I sent it, there are so many vehicles that is been parking anywhere. And those vehicles, the commercial vehicle, they can park in like in any other parking that also is, are belong to the city, are belong to people that's, and they do not have names, or they do not have a phone number, or they don't have anything that you can contact and say, okay, this vehicle cannot be parked in here, or we don't know to whom those vehicles are belong. So what I'm asking is just to get, an ordinance saying, that any vehicle, any commercial vehicle, any truck or whatever should have name on both sides of the door with name, phone number, and anyone who is responsible or owner of that vehicle, that commercial vehicle.
My understanding, you're looking to create an. Okay. So what you have to do, and what I encourage you to do, is just write something, sit with it.
You can see it, that is, it's right
She has,
here.
so we need to send the document to the city attorney
Yes, I know that.
for the final draft, and also to table the document.
Another thing, Madam Chair, is like, I know that there are, all-night commercial vehicle parking is prohibited in here, just to park anywhere. So, I know there is a place, or there is, I don't know, something that people can rent it for those kind of vehicle and park over there. Sometimes I had that, some of the complaint that sometimes they park on a parking lot and they just also leave a lot of trash and a lot of garbage in there. So by having those names or those people who park it over the night, it's going to be maybe more simple to find out who was in there during the whole night.
Which is why I encourage you that we're gonna table and send that document to the city attorney for the final draft, and you can work in between, just in case that you need to add, subtract some of the some of the language that you already have provided.
Okay, yes, I know, thank you.
So motion to send document 24823 to the city attorney, and also to table the document.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have. 24923, handicap sign removal, 310 Salem Street. Can I get a motion to send document 24923 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing?
So moved.
249.
Second and discussion.
Full council to order a public hearing. Yeah. Recommendation. Councilor
Thank you.
President?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So just one more thing on this. I did talk to the clerk either yesterday or today regarding the process of making sure that the city attorney gets, like we just did with the previous one, gets this language, because what's happening is coming to the council, and then the language isn't there, and we got to bring in the city attorney. So again, I'm not sure what the proper order is, but at some point, we got to get, I know this is an easy one because there's an ordinance to remove. It's not that difficult. But I think we at some point need to get it to the city attorney for his language, so that when we get to the full council, we're ready to order the public hearing.
So well, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure if I understood correctly. So for delete or remove a handicap parking, what we have to do is the same process that we do when we first require, meaning that we're gonna be sending with favor recommendation a different date. We don't have to wait for any police report because it's already exists. So for deleted handicap parking, we have to send to order a public hearing because we need to notify that this is going to be removable. But we don't need to send this to,
Well, we do need to order a public hearing, and before we
Yes.
do a public hearing, it needs to go to the city attorney for the crafting. Everything that goes to a public hearing gets reviewed by the city attorney before it's issued, correct?
yeah, but when that happens, it doesn't come from us. It has been sent from the city clerk to the city attorney. We don't have to make a motion for that.
So I think we can talk about that later. There is a
Yep.
bit of a disconnect on that, but we'll talk later about that. But as long as the city attorney at some point
Yeah.
gets it before it gets to the council.
Well, the city clerk is the one have to know that she needs to send it up and ask for the final draft. Okay? So, we good for that, Pat? 249? Okay. We did. Can I get a motion to send document 24923 with favor recommendation to order public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 250, expansion of Juan Pablo Duarte Boulevard on Broadway from Canal Street to Kirk Street. Desfile Dominicano, Rosa Quina, Mayor De Peña, and Councilor Gregory del Rosario. So you know where they're looking to do? It's just to put a sign from, they're not gonna change the name of the street. No, it's, whatever's existing. That's all. Okay. Motion to send document 25023 with a favorable recommendation. I don't think we need to order public hearing because they're not changing anything.
So moved.
Second discussion.
Councilor LaPlante?
Thank you. So just so we're clear on this, so what's been said this evening is that the Broadway remains Broadway.
Oh,
and-
yes.
And that's not changing. So if somebody's sending a letter or a piece of mail or looking for an address on GPS, they're not tapping in Pablo Duarte Boulevard. They're still putting 9 Broadway, 6 Broadway, whatever the Broadway address is. And if you're sending mail, it's still the Broadway. This is more
It's-
ceremonial
yeah.
in respect. Do we know a reason as to why we're expanding? Is
Just
there-
suspended, we already have Juan Pablo Duarte Boulevard. So they just gonna spend, that's all they looking to do.
No, I get that. I'm asking why they're looking to
I
extend.
don't, I wish I can have that answer. They are planning to be present to the full council, okay?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I think so that right now, for you, right now is from Como Street just to Broadway
Yeah,
Street. So this is that, and they are trying to expand a little bit more, up to Canary Street.
they're not gonna change anything. Favorable recommendation has been made, properly seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Let's take this as a block to document 251, 252, and 253 as a block to send it to Officer Cano and also to table, and I'm gonna read it one by one before we make the motion. 251 handicap parking at 26 Oregon Ave, apartment 2. 252, 23 handicap parking at 8 Street. And 253 is a handicap parking at 2 Boswood Street. All 3 document is going to be tabled and sent to Officer Cano for traffic study and I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to send it to Officer Cano for, in table.
Motion has been made, properly seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Let's read. Pat, you got all 3? 251, 252, and 253. Table and send it to Officer Cano for study review. Document 25423, creation of ad hoc committee, RE, City Council Office, Council. I didn't send that down here. You sent this down.
Not for this ad hoc committee, I didn't send it down here. The ad hoc committee was supposed to stay up with the full council. Somebody probably made a presumption that it was sent down here, but I did not send it down here. I'm looking for, frankly, I'm looking for people to, I'm looking for a counselor or two to volunteer to help figure out what we're gonna do with the space.
Oh, yeah, you
mentioned
mentioned
there.
that, but then it
I did not send it down here. I sent it to full council because, it's not a committee, it's not a committee issue. It's a full council.
Okay, but should
So-
we send this document for withdrawal?
Well, it shouldn't have been down here. It should be at the full council.
Yeah, but we need to withdraw because otherwise it's gonna stay here.
Never sent it here,
I
so it's at the
know.
full council,
So
right?
what are we gonna do with this?
That thing should just not even be on here. So Pat, I would, if I'm you, just
Yeah.
not even see this anymore and make sure it's on the full council under tabled matters.
Okay.
Is there anybody that's here interested in maybe, in helping a little bit? I'm
You
just
have
looking.
to open that
I'm
up.
looking for one or
Does-
two.
You have one.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Okay,
Name
I'm
and address for the record that you're gonna be part of that committee.
Yes, I would like to join the ad hoc committee. Okay.
And Councilor Levy says she's two? Yeah. And you three?
We're done.
Okay.
And now closed.
They're
Thank you.
closed.
You're all in.
Thank you.
Okay, now, I'm supposed to be the next agenda item, 255,
Oh, 255, 23.
stop sign, cross street.
Oh, yes. So the next one is, 25523, stop sign on Cross Street, both direction at intersection of Cedar Street. It has been put in the agenda by Councilor Richard Russell. Give it some time, so what we usually,
Do you want to hear my
Yes.
rationale, or do you want me to save it for the public hearing?
no, I want you to speak here.
Okay, Richard Russell, 34 Cross Street. For the last 12 and a half years, I have at one time or another tried to get stop signs put at the top of Cross Street. Cross Street, if you're not familiar with it, is a diagonal street that goes between Hampshire and Broadway, and it's used more and more frequently by people to avoid traffic lights on Haverhill Street, Broadway, amongst other things. In the last 12 and a half years, I'm willing to bet the number of motor vehicles in the city has increased by at least a third. The more the vehicles increase, the faster the speed is. 2 years ago, the city put up a radar speed sign. It took them 6 months to get the parts to make the thing work. After it was put up shortly, somebody took a 2x4 and just pushed the sign, and the radar device was pointing at the parking lot of the General Donovan School. They finally straightened that out. Late last fall, the machine died. The radar stopped working. It took them quite a while to get the parts to replace it. The parts were put in. The radar device worked for 6 hours. It now reads 17 miles an hour, and the lettering says, "You're peed." Okay? I would like to, and I notified the DPW of this at least a month ago. The parts are on order. This is what we get when we go with the lowest bidder. We get crappy product. New Hampshire, they have devices. They have flashing red and blue lights that they can put on top of that to let people, not only by speed, the numbers, that the lights go off when they exceed the speed limit. I would like to see something like that, but that is not going to happen. The cheapest way out is to put 2 stop signs on my portion of the hill, which is one way, and 1 sign on the other portion of Cross Street as it comes up from Broadway to control speed. Would be the cheapest way out. That's my rationale for it. If we wait for the DPW to get the parts to work, to get the parts in and hope the parts work, I might as well put in my papers to become the Pope. I'm sorry. That's my cynical attitude towards it. But it is something that there has not been any accidents yet. I have seen cars go up the hill at 65 miles an hour when the thing was working. People just don't care. They got to do something about it. I'm trying to save lives. Thank you.
You have the floor.
Madam Chair, thank you. So I just have a question for Councilor Russell through you, which is this. When you do become the Pope and the parts arrive, will there be a need for the stop sign?
There'll be benediction, probably a baptism, and probably several other religious ceremonies.
So, and all kidding aside, so my question is this, is that, I mean, the stop sign, I mean, if you want a stop sign, obviously you have every right to want a stop sign there, but it sounds like you don't have faith in, your first choice is to get the parts, but you don't have a lot of confidence the parts are there. What happens if the parts come tomorrow?
I don't have confidence in the parts functioning because the bottom line is state law says you have to go to the lowest bidder. And
Thank you, Madam Chair.
it is what it is for the lowest bidder. But that's my thoughts. Like I said, I've been trying for 12 and a half years for at least a stop sign. And people will ignore the flashing numbers. A stop sign, to me, is more effective.
Can I get a motion to send document 25523 to Officer Cano?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor, and table the item. And table the item. You accepted as a friend? Yes. Motion has been made, properly second, to table and send it to Officer Cano for study review. Lucky day for you. He's sitting in the back. You can talk into him more and elaborate more and just to kind of get an idea what is going to be doable. So motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. You sound like you don't want to be here. You go like, aye. You know, so that is, so that is the last document for the new item. Then we have Officer Cano. Don't get too excited. He has like 12. Officer Cano, floor is yours. Slowly.
Good evening, Council President, Madam Chair, Councilor at Large, Levy. Always nice to see you, Pat. Always a pleasure.
You can take all.
She's always ready. I don't even know why you ask her. She's always on top.
Just give us the document number so that way we know where we're gonna be looking.
All right, so the first one's going to be a 4-document. It's going to have 4 documents. So originally it was 39, 40, 42, and 412. And it's been changed. So 39, 40, 42, and those are of 2019, those 3. The next one is 412 of 2022. The number has been added, a letter has been added to the number, letter A, because it's basically being moved from one location to another. So it's a handicap parking, so it's going to be 39A, 2019, 40A, 2019, 42A, 2019, and 412A, 2022. 412A. It's all in the same document. It's one document, one page, all 4. I'll explain. So the next page, the next one? Should I explain? And that way you could kind of figure out how you want to proceed? Yes. Okay. So these particular items are number 2 Bennington Street. That's the apartment buildings at 2 Bennington at the intersection with Chestnut. Those 4 numbers correlate to a specific petitioner that requested a handicap parking. Because Bennington Street is at an incline, it has motor vehicle traffic that's extremely busy, including construction vehicles. The petitioners all asked if they can have the handicap parking placed on Chestnut Street at the same building where the handicap ramp is, where the street is leveled. Therefore, there wouldn't be the issue of having to deal with the inappropriate placement of the handicap sign to begin with. So we kept the same number, we just added a letter in order to designate the actual original document for the same person, for the same item. Okay, so don't know if you want to hold on to it until? Again, these are old, 2019. So,
Add
okay,
the table because we don't have a document with that.
okay. So what we'll do is we'll
So give us another,
move on to the next. All right, so the next one is 131-23. 131-23. After that is 143-23. 157-23. 165-23. And 166-23.
can I get a motion to take document 131-23? They all are 23. 143. 157. 165. 166 as a block and out of table.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, sir.
Okay, first document, it's being submitted and made a request by Councilor, Madam Chair Estela Reyes, on behalf of business owner
Yeah.
Mr. Antonio Hill for 20-minute parking signs for 2 vehicles to be placed in front of Renascent Market and Hero Multi-Service located at 69-71 East Haverhill Street. The businesses are open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. The request is for signs to read the restricted parking times from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. or according to allowable ordinances. I do recommend for the request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed at the following location: from the southeast corner of Vine Street on East Haverhill Street, traveling south to a point 51 feet to a point 71 feet, and from 71 feet to a point 91 feet. Displace the signs on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 6971 East Havel Street.
Counselor, can I get a motion to send document 13123 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing?
So moved.
Second discussion. This is one of those classes we talked about before.
Okay.
How is this getting to the city attorney from Teresa is going to send it over there?
So, what we usually do is, this is what I had been doing all this year. We send it to the full council with the favorable recommendation to order public hearing. Then they publicize, advertise, or whatever they need to do. I don't know the process. I'm assuming they send it to the city attorney for the final draft, and then they order public hearing. I believe this is how they do it. From my end, what we do is, we send it with favorable recommendation all this year to order public hearing. Okay? Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Next document,
14323 is being requested by District A Councilor Maria de la Cruz on behalf of her constituent, Mrs. Gonzalez, by way of her daughter, Mrs. Cristofano, for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of her residence located at number 8 Hay Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northwest corner of Pleasant Street on Hay Street, traveling north to a point 110 feet to a point 130 feet. This places a sign on the west side of the street, of the sidewalk, in front of 8 Hay Street.
can I get a motion to send document 14323 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing?
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Next document is document number 15723. It's being requested by Mrs. Diaz for a no parking area to be placed in front of her residence located at 20 Wilmot Street. I called the petitioner to get better clarification on her request. Ms. Diaz stated she was too busy and was not home. I checked the area and surmised that she was looking for a setback from both sides of her driveway to have better clearance entering or exiting without hindrance for the protection of property and public safety. There is currently on the city agenda item number 8323, which is a 5-foot setback unilaterally from any common driveway, which will alleviate and rectify this request once approved. I do not recommend for this item 157 to be granted. I request for this item to be withdrawn.
Motion to send document 15723 with favorable recommendation for withdrawal.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Next document is 16523. It's being requested by District B Councilor Chair Stella Reyes on behalf of business owner Jose Luis Frias for one 20-minute parking sign to be placed in front of El Pilon Market located at 262 Hampshire Street. The business is open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, and is requesting to have the sign showing the restricted limit parking time between 20 minutes from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northwest corner of Chardon Street on Hampshire Street, traveling north to a point 134 feet to a point 154 feet. This places a sign on the west side of the sidewalk in front of 262 Hampshire Street, the store's main entrance.
A motion to send document 16523 with favorable recommendation to order a public hearing.
So move.
Made properly second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Last but not least, this document is number 16623. It has been requested, and I believe we talked about it in the last meeting, by at-large Councilor Selena Reyes and District A Councilor Maria de la Cruz for Bohm Street to be placed as a one-way street. Currently, Bohm Street is a two-way street traveling from east to west with the highest elevation at a starting point located at High Street to the lowest elevation point ending at Prospect Street. The width of the street is consistent throughout at 19 feet from curb to curb. The length of Bohm Street from High Street to Prospect Street is 460 feet. Bohm Street has been going through various stages of development with new properties being built over the years. It is a busy road with homes on both sides of the street. Parking is allowed on the north side of the street and no parking on the south side of the public way. The road is small, can barely support two-way traffic safely with parking on one side. There is also a valid concern for emergency vehicles passing through. I do recommend that Bohm Street be converted to a one-way street. However, I request for this petition to be forwarded to the city engineer for his review and recommendation.
Motion to send document 166 to the city engineer for traffic study and recommendation, and also to table the document.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Table item?
I take document number 9421 off the table matters and ask that Officer Cano please stay here for that document. 9421, promote and endorse traffic study improvements.
Okay, motion to take document 94 to 21 to take out of table.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam Chair, this document I put on in 2021, this is to promote and endorse the traffic study improvements at 5 corners. This was in a reaction to the fatality that took place at 5 Corners intersection, and I thought we were successful in getting some funding for an engineering study. I was told by the DPW director that they're looking for more comprehensive proposal using the delegation to try to get some money for the engineering study. I just want the council to know, out of all the DPW projects for the upcoming 2-year cycle, this is my priority. We need to get this thing done. And I'm looking to see if we can, what we need to do to kind of free this up so we can get that study done.
Okay, so I am working with the DPW director. They are putting a couple of streets, and I remember seeing this is one of the priority they have. They are gonna be submitting some document to the state, looking for the fund, and make this study and change, whatever change needs to be done. So I think we should, and I can call them tomorrow just to give you an update, because the last time I heard, they had already submit that, and file the application. So I can give you more information. So, we can retable the document and I can give you more information because Officer Connor was not present in that. Lieutenant, Jay Zarulo was present, but, Officer Connor was not part of that discussion.
I appreciate the update. With that update, I'll ask that we retable that item. Make a motion.
Motion to
So move.
retable 9421.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Madam Chair, for the purposes of withdrawal, document number 23120, stop sign northbound traffic at South Union and South Broadway. Take that off the table, please.
Motion to take document 23122, 20, out of table.
So moved.
Motion has been made. 23120, page 7. Two 31.
You got it?
Okay,
I'd like to make, if it's permissible, I'd like to make the motion to withdraw that item.
yeah, motion to, has been made
Second?
to withdraw. Properly second, all those in favor? The
Aye.
ayes have it.
Madam Chair, just because I wanted to withdraw one more item, just a little cleaning up. On page 8, document 27819, ordinance change to van drivers of use of handheld devices in the school zone.
What is the document number?
27819.
270. 270, okay.
It's been 4 years, nothing seems to have moved on it.
Okay, motion to take document 27819 out of, table.
Second.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw document 27819.
Patty, you got that? Motion has been made, properly second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. So, what I'm planning, officer, we all set with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I want to take item 24819 out of order and out of table.
Which page? Document 2, what?
4819.
24819. So, motion to
Okay.
take document 24819 out of table.
Madam,
8.
page 8. The reason what I'm asking is, it's gonna be for withdrawal because that was when we were doing the building next to the city parking lot, that's I put the item. So I don't think so that it's any reason to keep it in here right now.
Make the motion.
Motion for withdrawal?
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. What I encourage all of you to do, because next meeting, what I'm gonna start cleaning is page 10, 9, 8, and 7. If you happen to have any of this item, it's gonna be all sent out for withdrawal. Okay? Any other table item? None? Motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you both for being here today.